Hey everyone, this is Ben with Bathroom Brews MTG. Today I'm going to be taking a look at all of the Doctor Who commanders, excluding the companions for the first time, and giving you my ranking on how fun I think they'll be. I'm doing this live without any script, so bear with me. And yeah, let's get into this. First up is Alistar the Brigadier. This is one in a Bant, so 1 green, white, blue, for a 3/3 human soldier that says, whenever you cast a historic spell, you create a 1/1 white soldier creature token, and whenever it attacks, you may pay 8 generic. If you do, creatures you control get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of historic permanents you control. Alright, first impressions. It's like a historic tokens deck. I feel like it'll just be like ban artifacts is probably the best way to build this. I'll give it a kind of fun. It might go up on the list. Maybe it's fun. I'm gonna put it in fun for now, but I think it's more low fun. Next is Ashnod the Lone Cyberman. This is 1 in a Grixis for a 3/3. It says the first non-legendary artifact spell you cast each turn has casualty 2. And whenever you sacrifice another creature, you put a +1/+1 counter on him. Or it. I don't know. Interesting. So non-legendary artifact spells have casualty 2. So you gotta just make a copy of it. That seems really cool. And it's each turn. So if you can cast him at flash with like Shimmermere or Urza's Battlethopter. Yeah, that seems pretty fun. That's definitely going to be ahead of the Brigadier here. All right, who's next? Astrid Peth. I think I'm saying that right. And it's a 2-mana 2/2, so it's a bear. It's actually a human. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, you make a food, and whenever you sack a food or a clue, it explores. So it's like a mono white food deck, but you can also do clues with it. I actually kind of like that. I'm going to put that... These all sound kind of fun. I'm going to put it... There's like mono white food and stuff, and it explores. I'm going to put it at kind of fun. I like the commander a lot, but I don't know how fun that would be. Maybe sacrifice a food or a clue. I was like, yeah, maybe like a... Yeah, I'm going to put it at kind of fun for now. Next is Cult of Sakaro. I'm saying that wrong. It's 1 in a Grixis for a 4/4 Dalek. Whenever it attacks, choose one at random. Put a +1/+1 counter on each artifact creature you control. Draw 2. Make a 3/3 black Dalek artifact creature token with menace, and each opponent loses 4 life. Oh, I love this. I just like the random aspect of it, and it's a Grixis deck that makes you want to attack. So cards like Helm of the Host seem really fun in here because he's going to make copies of it. Yeah, I'm gonna put that in very fun. That might actually move up to want to build, but we'll see what the rest of the cards are like. Next is Danny Pink. So this is Mentor for a 4-mana 4/3 human soldier advisor. Creatures you control have whenever 1 or more counters are put on this creature for the first time each turn, draw a card. That seems pretty good. I don't know how fun mono blue counters is though. This seems really good in like the 99 of a deck, but I don't know if I would want to play this as like its own commander. It seems just kind of meh. I'm gonna put it under not fun. Next is Dravos Dalek Creator. So it's 1 in a Grixis for a 3/4 alien scientist. Love that. With Menace, at the beginning of your end step, create a 3/3 black Dalek artifact creature token with Menace. If an opponent lost 3 or more life this turn, then each opponent who lost 3 or more life this turn faces a villainous choice. You draw a card or that player discards a card. In the end step, you make a token. And then if an opponent lost 3 or more life this turn... Oh, if they did. And then each opponent who did does the thing. Interesting. So it doesn't work well with like Impact Tremors or Warstorm Surge, because the opponent needs to be already have lost the life in order to trigger this because it's the beginning of your end step. I mean, Grixis Burn shouldn't be that hard to make. And again, you're in blue, so like Spark Double, Helm of the Host are great if you can get multiple copies of this out and making multiple 3/3s each turn. Honestly, I kind of like it. I might want to build this commander. I'm going to put it top of very fun. They're doing well with Grixis, I have to say. I'm very happy with how Grixis is turning out the set. Next is Dugan Private Detective. So it's a 2 in a Simic for a star. Its power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your hand. Okay. Enters the battlefield, investigate, or attacks, investigate, and that's fine. 1 in a green deals damage equal to twice its power to another target creature. Activate only once. I mean, you're not in red, so you can't do anything with like Stuffy Doll or... Oh, I mean, Stuffy Doll's colorless, but Brash Taunter. And it's only once. So like you can like flicker this and then try to do it again. And if you give it lifelink, it's really good because you gain a bunch of life. But that's about it. I'm going to put it at the end of kind of fun. Maybe not fun. I'm in between here right now. And I'm putting it at not fun. Stay mad. Next is Idris, Soul of Tartarus. TARDIS? Of the TARDIS. Am I saying that wrong? That's right, TARDIS. It's 1 and an is it for a 3/3 with Vanishing 3, and then an imprint. So when it enters the battlefield, exile another target artifact you control until it leaves the battlefield. Has all activated and triggered abilities of the exiled card, and gets +X/+X, where X is that exiled card's mana value. So when it enters the battlefield, until you leave, it has all activated abilities and triggered. Now, I don't know if this, with like Phyrexian, whatever that, the big Phyrexian card that costs 9 mana, I don't think you get the ETB because it's not as it enters, it's when it enters. What would this be good with? There has to be something interesting with this. I'm going to put it in fun. I'm going to put it like in the middle here. And I think I'm going to actually bring you down to not fun, or to kind of fun. Next is Araxa, Empress of Mars. So this is a 4 mana 5/4 alien warrior with trample, battle cry, and whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, you make a 2/2 red alien warrior creature token. So full disclosure, I want to build this. I have a Tormod the Desecrator deck that does something similar where I just put cards in and out of the graveyard to make 2/2s. And this is just that deck, but in red. So yeah, I want to build this. Next is Jenny Flint. So you have to partner with Madame Vastra. So I'll do both these kind of together. This is 1 and is it for a 2/2, first strike training. Whenever you sack a clue or food, put a +1/+1 counter on another target creature you control. And then Madam here must be blocked 2 green blue, so 2 and a Simic, must be blocked if able. Whenever a creature dealt damage by her, this turn dies. Create a clue and a food. Interesting. So it's Teamer for like a beat down clue deck. That seems fine. They're partners, so that's kind of cool, I guess. Academy Manufacturer is obviously very good in it. The theme is great. It's a human detective and a lizard detective. I love it. I'm gonna put these at the tail end of fun just because I just think the flavor of them seem really cool. Yeah. Next is Jenny Generated Anomaly. So it's 2 and a Boros for a 2/3 double strike. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, it explores. That seems fine. I'm gonna put under end of kind of fun. It's like a interesting Voltron commander, I guess. It's pretty straightforward, so I don't know how fun it would be, but it seems like it'd be fine. Next, if Carvanista Loyal Luperi. It's an alien dog soldier. It's already I'm already in love. 1 and a green. Oh, it's an adventure. So 1 and a green sorcery adventure. Humans you control gain indestructible till your next turn. So it's a heroic intervention. Oh, it's sorcery though. So not quite heroic intervention in the command zone. Still 1 and a green for that. And then Vigilance, Trample, Haste. Whenever it attacks, you put a +1/+1 counter on each human you control. And it's mono green. So mono green humans. Oh, that sounds cool. I don't know. I'm going to put that right in the middle of fun here. Flavor's great. Love the art. Next is Kate Stewart. It's 1 and a Jeskai for a 3/3 human scientist. Whenever you put 1 or more time counters on a permanent you control, you create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Whenever it attacks, you may pay 8. If you do, target. My lord. Whenever it attacks, you may pay 8. If you do, attacking creatures get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of time counters among permanents you control. This seems fine. Has to go on permanents. The payoff isn't great. This one isn't really doing it for me. So where do I want to put you? I'm going to put you at not fun. It's fine, but it's kind of boring. It doesn't do it for me. Next is Me the Immortal. So this is 2 and Teamer for a 3/3 human rogue. Beginning of combat on your turn, put your choice of a +1/+1 first strike, vigilance, or menace counter on it. Counters remain on them as they move to any zone other than the player's hand or library. You may cast them from your graveyard by discarding 2 cards in addition to paying its other costs. Yeah, this is like a weird Skullbriar, but in Teamer. So that's pretty cool. Obviously, if it gets bounced to your hand, or back to your library, it kind of sucks. But it's a Teamer counters deck. I'm gonna put it kind of fun. Yeah, we've seen it a lot, so I'm not like super impressed. Card's like interesting, but doesn't really do it for me. Next is Misty, which is 3 in a Grixis for Time Lord Rogue. Whenever another non-artifact creature dies, return to the battlefield under your control face down and tapped. It's a 2/2 Cyberman artifact creature. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent faces a villainous choice. Each artifact creature you control deals 1 damage to that opponent, or you draw a card and chaos ensues. I think chaos ensues involves like plane chase. So if you're not playing plane chase, this isn't great. It's just either they're usually to make you draw a card instead of taking a bunch of damage. But if you can have cards to flip other creatures up, I don't know how many of those are in Grixis colors. That could be really cool. So you like sack creatures or sneak attack them in, they die, they come back, tap to Cyberman if you can flip them up. I'm gonna put that at I'm gonna put it at the top of fun. It depends on how many cards we have that let us flip creatures. If there's a lot in those colors, then definitely very fun. But if there aren't, I'm just gonna put it under fun. Next is Osgood Operation Double. So this is a 4 mana, 2 blue for a 2/2 human alien shapeshifter. When you cast a spell, create a token copy of it, except it's not legendary. Great. Tap, add a colorless, so it's a mana dork. Spend this mana to only cast artifacts, spells, or activate abilities of artifacts. Sure. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere within your hand, you investigate. That's boring. I'm gonna put it at the end of not fun. It's great in the 99. Like I'll definitely put it in the 99 of a deck, but I'm not playing this as my commander. Next is Razolin. Yeah, sure. The War Precedent. It's 3 in a Dimir for a 3/4 Time Lord Noble. At the beginning of your upkeep, lose 2 life, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card for as long as it remains exiled. Each non-creature spell you cast from exile has Conspire. I don't remember what Conspire does. Isn't that when you... All right, so you can tap 2 untapped creatures that share a color and copy it. Interesting. So it's like a weird Wart the Raid Mother kind of thing. You know what? That seems fun. I think... Yeah, I'll put it there. I see people just doing this with like Torment of Hailfire or Exsanguinate is how I see people just winning with this, which seems kind of gross. So yeah, let's move on. River Song. 1 in an Izzet for a 2/2. You draw cards from the bottom of your library rather than the top. Okay. Whenever an opponent scries, surveils, or searches their library, put a +1/+1 counter on River Song. Then River Song deals damage equal to its power. Whenever an opponent scries, surveils, or searches their library. Yeah, I love this card. I might actually want to build this. This seems really cool. So cards like Brainstorm, where you draw 3 cards from the bottom, then put 2 on top. Or I think Expressive Iteration. I think you put 1 hand, 1 exile, 1 on the bottom. Yeah, so this is basically look at the top, take the 3 bottom cards of your deck with this out, put 1 on top, 1 into your hand, and 1 into exile. And then if you can force opponents to search their libraries or scry with like Field of Ruin. Oh man, this is really cool. Yeah, I like this a lot. Next is Sally's Sparrow. So this is a 4 mana, 2 and Azorius for a 2/3. You may cast creature spells as though they had flash. Whenever 1 or more other creatures you control leave the battlefield, investigate. Its ability only triggers once each turn. Alright, so it's like a weird Afara deck, but you investigate instead of just straight drawing cards. I love Blink. So I'm going to put it kind of fun. I know, I just enjoy creature strategies and investigating's fun. I'm going to actually put it kind of back here. Next is Sergeant John Benton. So it's a 3 mana, 2/4 trample and haste. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you and that player draw that many cards. This isn't doing it for me. I'm going to put it at the front of not fun. It's card draw. It's fine. Like, again, in the 99, I think it's really cool, but as a commander, nah. Next is Strax and Terran Nurse. So this is a 5 mana, 3 in a Gruul for a 5/5 Vigilance Trample. 2 tap, sack an artifact. Choose a player at random. When you do, it fights another target creature that player controls. Whenever it deals combat damage, whenever this creature deals damage to a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on it. This is just like a Gruul Fights commander. Vigilance Trample, so you can attack with it and then sack an artifact and have it fight. Sure. Seems fine. Well, you know, it's a Gruul Smash deck. I want to put this in my Minsk and Boo deck in the 99 because it has Vigilance and has Trample. And because I can just put counters on it with, that sounds great. But in the 99, as the commander, yeah, it seems fine. Next is the Beast Deathless Prince. Love that art. It's 2 green, I'm sorry, 2 black red for a 6/6. When you cast a spell, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap it, it gains menace and haste. Okay, cool. So it's a active treason. Literally, active treason I think is 3 mana. The beast enters the battlefield tapped with 6 stun counters on it. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to its owner, untap the beast and draw a card. Weird. So it's obviously with stun counters, if it become untapped, you just remove the counter instead. So you want to play like an active treason deck where you're just stealing creatures and then, well, I guess you don't even have to steal creatures, right? It's whenever a creature deals combat damage to its owner. So if you can somehow give other players creatures they don't control and then have them swing in, and then you can like untap this. Well, it's the tail end of fun. I think this could be a cool commander. I'm intrigued by it. I'm intrigued. Next is a Cyber Controller. So it's X, blue, blue, and black for a 3/3. When it ETBs, each opponent mills X cards. Put all creature cards milled this way onto the battlefield face down under your control. And they're 2/2 Cybermen. Other artifact creatures you control get +1/+1. It's 3 mana. I'd love to play this as like a Garuda companion deck. Again, I'm gonna put this at very fun. I just enjoy mill. And the Cyberman deck seems really fun. Artifact Creature Lord is great. And if you're able to flip creatures face up and still keep control of them, then this is absolutely great. What is this? Next is the Dalek Emperor. So it's 5 in a Grixis. I'm sorry, 5 in a Rakdos. It has for a 6/6 affinity for Daleks. Great. Other Daleks you control have haste. Love this. Beginning of combat on your At the beginning of combat on your turn, each opponent faces a villainous choice. That player sacks a creature they control, or you create a 3/3 black Dalek artifact creature token with Menace. I love this. This is going under very fun for me. Dalek Tribal, baby. Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. Yeah, this seems fun. It seems like the Esper Urza deck that I love, but because you just play Daleks? I don't know how many Daleks there are in Magic, but you have a lot of changelings. So yeah, this seems fine. All right, I should do the doctors in order, but we're going in alphabetical order, so stay mad. Next is the 8th Doctor. It's 4 in Azorius. For a 4/4 Time Lord Doctor, when it ETBs, you mill 3. Then once during each of your turns, you may play a historic land or cast a historic permanent spell from your graveyard. If you do, it gains if this permanent leaves the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. So, an Azorius Legends Matter commander? Or historic, I guess. So historic lands works on any like artifact or legendary lands. This seems fine. I'm gonna put it at the top of not fun, I think. It's cool in the 99, but as a commander, you still have to cast the spell. And it doesn't, yeah, it's fine. There might be some companions that come with this that are really good, but as it by itself, no, I'm not into it. Next is the 11th Doctor. So 1 in Azorius for a 3/2. I know this Doctor. I've seen this one. I've never watched the show, but I've seen clips. So its first ability is I Am Talking. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may exile a card from your hand with a number of time counters on it equal to its mana value. If it doesn't have Suspend, it gains Suspend. Then 2, target creature with power 3 or less can't be blocked this turn. So you can suspend like big cards with it, but they still take a lot of turns. I'm gonna put it at the end of fun, but it could move down a tier depending. We'll see what happens with it. I'm not mad at it, but it doesn't feel super cool, like interesting. Yeah, we'll leave it there for now. And also, I am aware that a lot of these cards will probably be better with companions, but that's just way too many legendaries to look at in one video. So if this video does well enough, I'll do the companions next. All right, the Face of Bow. It's 1 in a Jeskai for a 0/4. Already love this. Tap, you may cast a spell with Suspend from your hand. If you do, pay its Suspend cost rather than its mana cost. Oh, cool. I'm gonna put that like over here. Yeah, this is great. You actually get to literally just play Ancestral Recall. The Mox, the Soul Ring, the Lotus Bloom. And you're in Jeskai, so it's not like you can't untap this thing. Yeah, no, I want to build this. Actually, yeah, this is going at the end of wanting to build. This is a cool Jeskai commander. Just throw all the suspend cards in there, put in some stuff to like untap it. It seems really sick. Next is the 5th Doctor. So it's a 2 and Azorius, so 4 mana for a 2/2. Beginning of your end step, put a counter on each creature that didn't attack or enter the battlefield this turn. Untap those creatures. It's been more fun than some of the Doctors we've seen so far. I'm gonna put it definitely right towards the end of fun. It's cool. It's like because they don't attack, so you're playing more of maybe like a Walls deck would be interesting because you can't attack with them and they'll always be untapped, and you just kind of grow these giant walls so people can't attack you, and then use like the initiative of the Monarch and just kind of win with that. Okay, I'm intrigued. It's gonna go up one more. All right. Next is the 1st Doctor. 1 in Azorius for a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, search your library and or graveyard for a card named TARDIS. Reveal it, put it into your hand. You search your library. If you search your library this way, shuffle. Whenever you cast a spell with Cascade, put a +1/+1 counter on target artifact or creature. It's a 2 mana 2/4 flying vehicle with crew 2. Whenever it attacks, if you control a Time Lord, the next spell you cast this turn has Cascade and you may Planeswalk. Okay. I mean, it's the Doctor deck. You get to search for a TARDIS and crew it. That's pretty cool. I love Cascade. Yeah, we'll put it up here. Whenever TARDIS attacks. Okay, interesting. And it's not legendary, which is cool. Next is the 4th Doctor. Hey, Jelly Beans. It's a 4/4 for 2 and a Simic. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. Great. And then once each turn, you may play a historic land or cast a historic spell from the top of your library. When you do, you make a food. Okay. That's fine. It's not very fun, but it's cool. I'll put you ahead of the counters deck. Next is the Fugitive Doctor. So this is a 5 mana 4/4 ETB's Investigate. When it attacks, you may sack a clue. When you do, target an instant or sorcery card in your graveyard, gains flashback for 2 and a Gruul till end of turn. Okay, so attack. So even if it doesn't hit, and you can get like Brass's Bounty with flashback for 2 and a Gruul. And if you have an Academy Manufactor out, when you do that, you get, oh, yeah. I'm going to put this at, it's pretty fun. I just like being able to abuse like Gruul Spellslinger stuff from the graveyard. So that's really nice. Next is the Master Formed Anew. It's a Dimir 0/1 Time Lord Rogue Tribal. When you cast a spell, you may exile a creature you control and put a takeover counter on it. You may have the Master Formed Anew enter the battlefield as a copy of a creature in exile with a takeover counter on it. Interesting. So but it's only when you cast it. You may have the exiled creature you control. Okay. So when you cast, you exile one of your own creatures, and then when it ETBs, you can have it enter as a copy of that card. And it's even? I could build a Garuda deck with this. Because you can just exile... If you can get Garuda out and then you cast this, you can exile the Garuda. So essentially you put Garuda as your commander. But this is actually your commander. Yep, I'm building it. To the top it goes. Next is the Masters Galfrey's End. It's a 2 red and a black for a 4/3. Make them pay whenever a non-token artifact creature, okay, you control dies. You may exile it. If you do, choose an opponent with the most life amongst your opponents. That player faces a villainous choice. They lose 4 life, or you create a token copy of that card. Yes. Yeah. I'm gonna put that in very fun. I just want to put a Worm Coil engine with this. Oh man, I'm in. Next is the Master Mesmerist. 2 in a Dimir for a 3/3 Time Lord Rogue. That target creature an opponent controls with power less than or equal to this card gains Skulk until end of turn and goad it. Love it. Whenever a creature with Skulk deals combat damage to one of your opponents, you put a counter on this thing and draw a card. Yeah, it's fine. You put Skulk, you make games go faster. Really, like, cool in the 99 of like a rogue deck maybe, but I really don't care about it in the command zone. Next is the Master Manipulated. It's 4 in Arachnos for a 4/3 with Myriad. The legend rule doesn't apply to creature tokens you control. Triggered abilities you control can't cause you to sacrifice or exile creature tokens you control. So if you attack with this once, you get 2 copies of it. And then those will stack next combat. Okay. Yeah, this is very fun. This is very fun. I like that. That's really cool. Gonna make them under legendary tokens and Rakdos? Yeah. The 9th Doctor. So this one I actually know, because I actually just did a video, which I'll link on screen somewhere here, of a 3 commander decks with this and Clara Oswald, where it's like a modular deck. But this is a 3 mana 2/4 with haste. Whenever it becomes untapped during your untap step, you get an additional you get an additional upkeep step after this. I love this. This is really cool. I really want to build this commander with Sphinx of the Second Sun and Paradox Haze and Spark Double. And if you go with like a black deck, you can, or Grixis, you can do like Phyrexian Arena. And the initiative's really good with it. You should really check out that video. I go over everything in depth there. It's really great. Next is the Rani. It's 1 in a Grixis for a 3/4. When it ETBs or attacks, make a red aura enchantment token named Marked of Rani attached to another target creature. That token has enchant creature, and enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and is goaded. Whenever a goaded creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, investigate. Okay. So it's a weird goad Grixis deck. Yeah, I think that's more fun than this stuff. I just like goad a lot, so I'm gonna put it up there. Next is the 2nd Doctor, so it's 2 in Azorius for a 2/4. Players have no maximum hand size, fine. Beginning of your end step, each player may draw a card. Each opponent who does can attack you or permanents you control during their next turn. It sounds like a fun commander. It's interesting. I'm gonna put it here. This seems kind of fun. I like drawing cards, so. Next is the 7th Doctor. It's 3 in Azorius for a 3/6. When it attacks, choose a card in your hand. Defending player guesses whether that card's mana value is greater than the number of artifacts you control. If they guessed wrong, you may cast without paying its mana cost. If you don't cast a spell this way, investigate. That seems fun. We're going to throw it right up there. I just love the defending player has to guess that card's mana value. That seems really interesting. And you can do some weird Voltron. It's a 3/6, so it has a big butt. I love that. Next is the 6th Doctor. It's 4 in a Simic for a 3/3. Whenever you cast a historic spell, copy it. Except that copy isn't legendary. This ability only triggers once each turn. That seems very fun. It's historic or legendary copies isn't legendary. It is only once each turn, but it's not like Simic and artifacts and specifically don't have ways of casting stuff at instant speed. Especially if you get like a Reki History of Kamigawa out with this, you have 2 of those. Ugh, 10 out of 10. The 10th Doctor. This is 3 in an Izzet for 3/5. Whenever you attack, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. Put 3 time counters on it. It gains suspend if it doesn't have suspend. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend. Okay. So you could like cheat Eldrazi into play with this. And then timey-wimey, it's 7 mana, time travel 3 times, activate only sorcery. So for time travel, it's for each suspended card you own and each permanent you control with a time counter on it. You may add or remove a time counter, then do it 2 more times. I love this, actually. I might want to build this. Because you can still just like put Maze of Ith or something in the deck to stop take it out of combat after it attacks. And while this triggers on the stack, if you use like Brainstorm, or you can't Ponder, but like any Brainstorm type effects or Brainstone even, just ways to like manipulate the top of your library to cheat things into play. And then using cards like either Heartstone or just ways to reduce the cost of its ability, you can cheat huge things into play. I love that. Next is the 3rd Doctor. So it's 2 in a Simic for a 2/2. Trample. The 3rd Doctor gets +1/+1 for each non-token, each non-token creature. Oh my lord. The 3rd Doctor gets +1/+1 for each non-creature token you control. When the 3rd Doctor enters the battlefield, you make your choice of a clue, a food, or a treasure token. This seems really good in like a Gimbal deck, but otherwise, meh. It's fine. In the 99, I really like it. As a commander, I'm not that high on it. Next is the 13th Doctor. This is 1 in a Simic for a 2/2 Paradox. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere within your hand, you put a counter on it. Sure, Team TARDIS, at the beginning of your end step, untap each creature you control with a counter on it. Again, it doesn't seem like a very fun commander, but in the 99, it seems great and like would be a lot of fun. Just I don't care about this effect in the command zone. Not that I don't care about it. I just think there are more interesting commanders you can have, but in the 99, I love this and I love the art. What was the top of kind of fun, I guess? I'll put it like here. Next is the 12th Doctor. Love that art. It's 3 and an Izzet for a 4/4. The first spell you cast from anywhere other than your hand each turn has Demonstrate. So you get to copy it, and then an opponent can copy it. So you get 2 copies and an opponent gets 1. Sure. Whenever you copy a spell, you put a counter on it. Don't care about that counter. I care about that Demonstrate. That seems really fun. We're going to put that up here. And I think we'll move you over here. Sure, that seems fine. Next is the Valyard. It's 2 and a Grixis for a 4/5. If an opponent would face a villainous choice, they face that choice an additional time. While voting, you may vote an additional time. That seems like solidly fun. I'll put it like right in the middle there. I like voting. I think it's a really cool mechanic, and villainous choice, I feel the same way about it. So yeah, let's put it there. The War Doctor. So it's 2 and a Boros for a 3/5. Whenever one or more other permanents phase out, and whenever one or more other cards are put into exile from anywhere, you put a time counter on the War Doctor. Whenever it attacks, it deals damage equal to the number of time counters on it to any target. If a creature is dealt damage this way would die, exile it instead. Weird. It's like a phase out blink Boros commander. I'll put that there. I love a good Boros commander, and I really like the flavor. Like, not even like the flavor, just the idea of using stuff to phase creatures out. If you phase out multiple creatures, though, you do only get 1 counter. So you want to do it like 1 at a time, not multiples at once. Next is Varestin Menopartral Leader. It's an alien insect scout. X green, green, and white for a 0/0 flying. ETBs with X counters on it, sure. When it enters the battlefield, you create X 1/1 green and white alien insect creature tokens with flying. And whenever you attack with 1 or more insects, put a +1/+1 counter on each of them. I love this. Insect time, baby. I might build that. I have an Anointed Procession, a Parallel Lives, and a Primal Vigor, just like kind of hanging out. The Branching Evolution. Oh, this seems like a great counter. I'm going to build this. Also seems like it could be a really fun, just like budget insect deck. I'm all in on this. And last but not least is Wilfred Mott. It's a 3 and a white for a 2/4. Human soldier. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a time counter on it. Then look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of time counters on him. You may put a non-land permanent card with mana value 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. It's like a white weenies deck. It's any non-land permanent. So if you fill your entire deck with just like 3 and less drops, eventually you'll just be able to start ripping things off the top. Huh. I kind of want to build this mono white commander. It's at the beginning of your upkeep. So it's not that often. No. I'm going to put it at the top of fun here. And I think that's it. All right. So there's my ranking. You'll notice the card at the bottom here. Its partner is a Doctor's Companion, so I'm not really going over it. So sorry about that. If I do the Doctor's Companion video, I will definitely go over this. Yeah, this is kind of my ranking of my first look at most of these commanders. Again, the 9th Doctor I did a video on, which you should definitely check out. And let me know in the comments if you agree with my list or disagree with me, and if you think the companions really make a difference on how interesting these commanders are. All right. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See ya.